Welcome back, everybody. Joe Everest, the fence expert. If you've watched a recent video, we've already cleaned this fence once. Standstill Experts sent us a care package full of wood cleaners and wood brighteners that we use to clean the fence. We used their wood cleaner product to clean both sides. We used a wood brightener on one side but not the other. One thing we noticed in the wrap up to that video was there's still some algae stains remaining on the fence. Now, if we were to use a semi-solid, a pretty thick stain, it would probably be okay. I think we could get cleaner. So in today's video, we're gonna leave one half clean and brightened with their wood cleaner and wood brightener. The other half, we're gonna use the wood stripper and the wood brightener. Now, it's important to note that the chemicals are color-coded. I knew when I grabbed the bag of purple chemicals, it was the wood stripper. If you guys watched the last video, you know that if I would have grabbed the wood cleaner, it would have been a yellow chemical. Color coding is important to make sure you're working with the correct chemicals each and every time. Now, in the last video, we spent a good deal of time pre-rinsing the fence and the area around it. Last night, it rained pretty heavily into this morning. Mother Nature did the pre-rinsing for us. We can move straight to mixing the chemicals. To recap on the equipment we're using, I went to a local home improvement store, picked up a couple 2-gallon sprayers. The brand is not important. Also picked up a paint mixer to stir the chemicals to make sure they're mixed very well. Now, one thing to note about the chemicals is they're pre-packaged. It's one package per gallon, so we'll be using 2 packs of the wood stripper and 2 packs of the wood brightener. Now, it's important to note I left the water line a little bit below 2 gallons so that we can clean up any extra that's left on the rim. We'll go ahead and mix it. Rinse off our mixer so that we don't cross-contaminate. Now again, each chemical is color-coded, so even if I hadn't marked these sprayers, I'd know that the purple was the stripper and the cream color or the clear color was the brightener. Now, one interesting thing to note is the wood stripper gets pretty warm when you're mixing it. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's see how it does. So when cleaning a fence, it's important to start at the bottom and work your way up. That way, each part of the board is getting full-strength chemical. If you start at the top and work your way down, some of it's going to be runoff and it's going to be less effective. Now, when we're rinsing it, we'll start at the top and work our way down so that we don't have runoff contaminating a clean board. Now, since the algae staining was so severe, we're going to go through and spot treat it again, just hitting the really heavy parts. All right, so now we got the chemical applied. We're going to let it sit or dwell for the next 10 minutes to let the chemicals really do their job. The next step after that is we're going to rinse it and then reapply as necessary. All right, so now we're ready to rinse. As I said before, when we're rinsing, we'll start at the top and work our way down. Rinsing is going to do a couple things. Whatever is clean and ready to come off the board will come off the board, and it'll let us know where we need to reapply to. Now, I have our setting set to jet. It's going to be closer to, say, a light power washer. I know some of you at home have a power washer sitting in the garage and have been itching to use it. You can go ahead and use it on the fence, but use as mild of a tip as you can. The danger when working with an older fence or any fences in general is the wood can be delicate. So if you use a really harsh nozzle or a high pressure nozzle, you could really do some damage that isn't easily reversible. So as I say, the jet nozzle on the handheld hose sprayer, for lack of a better term, is probably pretty similar to a light or more open nozzle on a power washer. So we've got our rinse done and we've got the first layer of junk off of these boards. We're going to go through and pre-treat them again. We're not going to treat them as heavily this time, knowing that there's just less to get up off this board. And another rinse. Again, starting at the top and working down, so anything we rinse off doesn't contaminate an already clean part of the board. Now we're going to apply the wood brightener, which is 100% oxalic acid. Now, the wood brightener is going to do a couple things. As its name suggests, it's going to make the darker part of this wood look brighter by reducing the tannins in the lumber, but then also it's going to neutralize any cleaner that's left on so that we halt the process. You don't want to leave cleaner on lumber for a prolonged period of time. It could damage the wood. All right, guys, if you guessed that it was time for the final rinse, you'd be right. All right, guys, welcome back. Through the magic of YouTube editing, we're back several days later. But before we look at the results, let's recap a little bit about what's going on. So what you've just seen me do is wash down, clean, and brighten this fence using the wood stripper as a cleaner, the wood brightener as the wood brightener, and the neutralizer for the wood stripper. I think the results turned out amazing. I mean, the results speak for themselves, right? So you see where we started, you see where we end up. I think that's an incredible result. Now, as we compare it to what was cleaned with wood cleaner and then brightened with wood brightener, I think that's got a lot more of the organics off the board. Now, keep in mind, we rinse this with a regular hose and a hose sprayer, right? Because those are the tools that are available to most DIY folks that are just wanting to clean their fence over the weekend. To clean this fence professionally, we would have brought out a power washer, a little bit more pressure that we're trained to use, and maybe clean this a little bit better. That's really the only other thing to test. So stay tuned for a future video. We're literally going to record it after this video, where we're going to clean the rest of this fence using a power washer in the hands of a trained professional. So we're going to be able to limit the amount of damage done. We're going to use a really wide tip. Really what we're after is volume over pressure. Anyway, stay tuned for that video. But like I said, I think the results speak for themselves. If you've got a fence with some heavy organic growth, you'd probably be best off using the wood stripper from Sand Steel Experts. Again, followed up by the wood brightener that will both neutralize the cleaner, but also brighten the wood. It will remove, if we had seen any sort of nail rust here, it would have removed that nail rust as well. Let me know what you guys think. Would you guys have done something differently? What do you think of the results? Did you like the video as a whole? Leave me those comments down in the comments section. Also, don't forget, liking and subscribing really helps this channel a lot, and it's absolutely free. It would mean the world to me if you took a couple minutes, like the video, look below this video to see if that subscribe button is red. If it is, hit that subscribe button. Right now, 9 out of 10 people watching this video are not subscribed. Let's make that less. Anyway, guys, for today, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you that good fences make good neighbors. And we'll see you next time.